time I try to make this right, I know I'll end up making mistakes. I found a way to be human, dying on my own. Still don't know what I'm doing, trying not to know. When all this has to lead somewhere that I need. When all this has to lead somewhere that there's peace. Well, I found a way to be human, dying on my own. Still don't know what I'm doing, trying not to know. When all this has to lead somewhere that I need. When all this has to lead somewhere that there's peace.
Okay, so this is episode 7, which I'm so happy to say because I never thought we would actually reach this because we were doing one episode per other month or something.
Really?
Maybe that, yeah, maybe even that. We did go to England too.
Oh, yeah. So
And-
you guys took it. Yeah.
And I also was in the middle of moving, and it was a lot of stuff. But it's great to have you, buddy.
Thank you.
Hell yeah,
Appreciate
dude.
it.
I bump into you all the time
Yeah.
in Snohomish.
Yeah.
And finally, I was able to get you down here. So.
Right.
I want to talk about your album that you released a while back. What year was it when you released
Oh,
it? 19?
2018, 2019.
Okay,
I can't
so it's been a
remember
while.
that far.
It's been a while, right? So I want to go through that. Open Wounds. I noticed the significant theme of the album was heartbreak, loss,
Yeah.
and perhaps even addiction.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And I would like to hear from you on if I'm missing anything. If I'm missing any other... What are the stories behind the songs? How did you...
So ironically enough, not ironically enough, what happened was essentially, I've been writing songs and bits and pieces since I was I've been doing music since I was 3 years old. I was behind a drum kit and had a little drum kit at home. I actually started playing guitar when I was 18, literally out of boredom, and I didn't have anywhere to put a drum kit. And so I picked up guitar when I was 18, and I started writing pretty much right away. I'd always been a bit of a songwriter. I'd always been like the guy that kind of pieced everything together. I'd never been a virtuoso. I've never been like be able to play guitar solos. So I started, I was like, okay, I have all these bits and pieces, and it was just one of these weird things where like in a 2-month period, all the creative juice just got turned on. And so
What years do you think that happened?
It was a year
Right
right before I released it. I basically came up with, I had the songs, I wrote all 6 songs on the EP, except for one, well, no, I wrote them all. And then I had a couple that I had done or half done that I really liked, but I knew they weren't finished. So, I took all those songs, wrote them out 100%, made sure they were flush, and pretty much just did it on my acoustic and just sat on my bed and finished them all. And like I said, lightning struck. I mean, it was literally one day at a time a new song would come out, and over a couple of weeks. It was weird. For those of you that aren't songwriters that don't know, songwriting's not like something we turn on. It just, when it's on, it's on. It's like a magic faucet. If it's running, you go over and start filling up as many cups as you can.
You could try to write a song out of nowhere and just try to force it. And
right.
It'll be the shittiest song. Or it just won't stay.
Right.
It won't stick at all.
My favorite is going back and listening to old songs I wrote, and I go, why did I think that was a good idea? What was I thinking? But yeah, so no, you hit the...
But some of them come back.
Oh yeah.
Right?
That's
Songs that you've written and then
Yep.
you'd stop playing them, but
Yeah.
they come back again.
So I actually did that with a lot of the newer songs. It'll be on a full length EP that I'm going to start working on next year. But anyway, the
full length EP or album?
LP. I'm sorry, full length LP. It'll be full. So the EP, for those of you
What
who
does
don't know,
LP mean? I forgot.
long play.
Oh, okay.
So when you came out with records, there were singles, EPs, and long plays. So that's how they sized the Wax records.
Okay. So, but long play is it like the same thing as like an album?
It's
or?
a full length album.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what it
okay.
is.
That's how I
Yeah.
in my mind. Like
Yeah.
there's EP, and the EP can be 3 to 6 songs. Right?
Yeah.
And then like after that, after 6 songs, and then it's an album, right? So it could be
Yeah.
like 7 or 8 songs. And
So this will be 12 songs at least.
Sweet.
Looking at possibly throwing in a 13th or 14th. But anyway, so the themes you hit were dead on.
13 or 14. That's a lot.
Yeah, no, like I said, but these have also been stored up since 2018, 2019.
Cool.
So, but no, I went in and actually 2016, 2017 is when they've been stored up on. But anyway, so yeah, what had happened is between the ages of 22 and 23, which was 2015 through 2017, 2018, I went through a whole bunch of crap with relationship wise. I was doing a lot of dumb stuff just trying to figure out
What years?
like 2016 was the capital of it, was like the worst of it, and so the back end of 2015 to like the middle of 2017 was like the worst
That's
of
very
it.
close to me.
Yeah.
Same.
2017.
Yeah.
2017
I have
to
that in
2020.
common with you.
And the funny
so-
thing is, the way I remember it is there's a song by Black Bear, and I can't think of what song it is off the top of my head, but there's a part where he says 2016 was catastrophic, I deserved it. And I'm like, that was about right.
It's absolutely right.
Right.
We at the end of the day, whatever bad decisions we made, like alcohol or addiction, I mean, it's definitely some people it becomes a disease, right?
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, it runs in my family, right?
Yeah.
So luckily, it didn't get to that place, you know.
Yeah,
but it was
exactly.
getting there. Like
Right.
But at the start, I know. I mean, that conscious decision. I'm like, I want it. I want to die.
Yeah.
I want to just drown myself. I don't want to just shoot myself because I'm not like that
Right.
brave.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go drink.
Yeah.
And have a good time.
Right.
Before I go.
And just go
clock
slowly.
out.
Yeah. So I went through a really rough time with. I had a bunch of tragedies happen. I mean, I lost my one of my. We brought in a family of disabled mom and her 3 kids, and they were basically my little brothers and sisters,
Right.
even though they weren't. He passed away at 14 years old in 2016. My cousin had killed himself on my birthday. There was a whole bunch of like I lost
Your
7.
cousin?
Yeah, my cousin
Oh,
did.
man.
There was like 7 tragedies that happened, and then I basically went off the deep end and said I'm just going to drown myself in whatever I can find. And it wasn't drugs because I never did drugs or alcohol, but I just went out and kind of, I guess, partied in my own way. I got lost and like tried to find myself in a whole bunch of women, and it wasn't good. And so coming off of that, there was one friendship in particular, and it was really, really one-sided. And I kind of knew that going into it, if that makes sense. Like, it was somebody that I was like chasing, but I knew they'd never chase me back, but it was fine because I didn't care.
Is this a female?
Yeah, female.
Okay.
And so I had no idea. So or not no idea. So I went into that, kind of went crazy, did some stupid stuff. And then there was another gal that I also kind of dated that was selling cocaine, which I didn't know until a little bit in.
Cocaine's making a comeback. It's
I
quite
know.
popular right now.
It's because
crazy.
caffeine's not working well enough. Everybody needs to be more hyper and more
Yeah.
efficient.
Maybe, yeah.
Stimulants are really
And is it cocaine
in right
or
now.
it could be caffeine mixed with meth?
It could be, I don't
You
know.
know?
At this point, I mean, caffeine was created to keep us all going faster and longer, and so people are just like, "Oh, caffeine's not working anymore. Let's just hit something else."
Yeah.
So then the one song, "Was It Hard," is a mix of between that gal who decided that she didn't want to stop when she told me, I was like, "Okay, that's fine, but you're going to stop selling drugs, or we're not going to be together." She chose to continue selling drugs, and on
This
top,
sounds oddly familiar.
right, and then on top of that, my little brother is also a full blown heroin addict.
Oh,
So both of that song, "Was It Hard," was specifically written kind of to both of them at the same time, as of like, was it hard? And it's a sarcastic saying of, was it hard to just keep doing drugs? Was it hard to choose to leave your family behind? Was it hard to choose to leave me behind selfishly? And so that's why the song actually hits on drinking and drugs and heroin and whatever. So it taps a bunch of different levels of addiction. But all the other songs are about one specific girl that I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to take out all my frustrations on you right now.
It's kind of amazing when when you intentionally write it about somebody, and then it turns out it's actually about multiple people, or just more than one person.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of, you know who Christopher Hitchens is?
Yeah.
His brother is completely the opposite. He believes that addiction is bullshit. Basically, he believes that it's all a choice, all our choice.
Huh.
And I mean, and he's remarkably published. He's published like a bunch of books.
Huh.
Yeah, I imagine he's a good writer because he's a Hitchens, but it's just strange how polar opposites he is to his brother. Because I was excited that a brother existed.
Right.
Right. And he was an atheist, and now he's like full blown on the other side.
Right.
Which is a weird transition, but anyway, the reason why it reminds me of it is because of that idea that addiction is a choice. I think it depends. It depends on the strength of what you're addicted to.
I think a lot of people are predispositioned, like you said, genetically to be addicted to things, but I also think or have addictive personalities.
Yeah.
For instance, I know my personality type. I don't know if you guys get into this, but like the enneagrams are different numbers for people,
I've seen that. I don't understand it though.
So it's basically just a different personality test, is all it is. And to me, it tends to be pretty darn accurate.
To like types of personalities.
It's hard to describe. You'd have to look into it. But anyway, for instance, the example is I fall under Enneagram 7, and I think there's 8 or 9 total. And
makes it sound like synths or something.
Right, but sevens, me, and this is true, like, and they're pretty darn good at what they like fall under, is that they're like sevens are basically get high on life. Like we get like our big thing that we live for is being excited about life and excited about the things we're doing. So if that involves, if you basically when we start to break down, when sevens start to deteriorate and become like unhappy or unfocused, we start looking for ways to make our life more exciting. And then so like my personality type is high dependency on like caffeine, methamphetamines, whatever, because we try fast like keep me up, keep me awake, keep me going. So I think a lot of people I think that first time you do it is a choice, but I think like for instance heroin is just morphine. That's all, is diet morphine. So and heroin in and of itself, like you can look this up, links with our body's biology better than any other drug.
Damn.
So that's why it's so addictive, because you tap it once, and I had to have my appendix pulled out. I had to have my knee was put over here, and I had to put it back. So I've been on oxys before.
Yeah, painkillers.
And I'm only taking half a pill or like the lowest dose, and I just use. But I noticed at the end, when I got out of maybe even 4 days of using it, my body was so dependent and wanting it. And luckily it's low enough to where I'm like, I'm fine. But I drink caffeine once a week. And after I got off using the pills for like the amount that I was prescribed, I cut them in half, all sorts of stuff, because I didn't want to be hooked on them. I legitimately was like, I need to go get coffee. I need to go get a soda. I need to go get something to keep my body awake. Because and I came home, and this is 100% true. My little brother is sitting in the living room when I came home. He's like, "You good?" Or the next day, he goes, "Were you good yesterday?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, I was like, it was my last day of whatever, and I was like, my mouth was salivating and all that. He goes, "Yeah, you were coming down." And I was like,
you were coming down from caffeine?
No, from Moxie.
Moxie, okay.
Because it's opioids. And
he
goes,
right.
And so he knows. He's like, no, that's exactly what. As a heroin addict, opioid. He's like, no, that's exactly what was. He's like, I thought you were coming down.
Oh, sure.
So the addict was literally telling me that I was having withdrawals the day before. Because he was like, yeah, no, you were having withdrawals. So that's exactly what those look like.
That's what I've heard a lot, is that a lot of people will get prescribed things like Vicodin or OxyContin, and they don't realize that they're dependent on it until they get cut off from it.
Yep.
Until they can no longer get refills, or they just reach the end of their prescription period.
Yeah.
Then they just have a hard time recovering, and it's brutal.
Two stats that scare the crap out of me. Good.
Do you think we should introduce the special guest, or?
I think we should.
Oh my.
Yeah, I mean she's
a podcast dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Kirsten. Yeah, she's my buddy.
Did you name her after Kristen Dunst, Jordan?
I did.
I love that actress though. She's cool.
Oh yeah. So one stat I learned, they talk about it in the I'm in construction mainly, but they 33% of all ER visits end with an opioid addict.
Oh man.
And then but that's exactly right. You run out of your prescription, and then that's like I said. That's when I was like, and the first thought I thought was like, man, if I go home and take another half a pill, I'll be fine. Mm-hmm. But it's so weird how your brain kicks into that.
2 weeks or no, not 2 weeks. Sorry, in 1 week, 2 of my friends had their cars broken into this week or
I'm sure.
last week.
Oh yeah.
And the same exact things happened to them. They try to break into their car and try to hotwire it, but they weren't smart enough to do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of sucks. It's my car's been fine, luckily. Even though the Salvation Army's right down the street.
Yeah.
But,
every gospel mission is like crossed down.
Yeah, I'm protected by all the churches. See. Listening to you, I got all nostalgic because I guess like a lot of it reminds me of the early 2000s and also reminds me of your music.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And I saw some similarities to my style when it came to my acoustic stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering, could you list some of your almost said our your inspirations?
And that's it's a lot of. So when I write, a lot of people tell me I sound like, and this is kind of where it comes from, Stained, Breaking Benjamin, Crossfade,
right.
Seether. Yeah, it's all that
so
early mid-2000s. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
100%.
Okay.
I am a sucker for the 2000s era. Now, I will say, and just to add on to the first question, is I wrote like these 6 songs that are on Open Wounds, and then I got out of another relationship, which wasn't terrible or toxic, but we broke up and it was fine. And then I wrote, so apparently heartbreak's how and breaking up is how I write my music. Because then I wrote, that's when I wrote like the next block of songs. And there's one on there that sounds like it could be a Blink-182 song. Yeah. I like to write without any restriction. It's all rock for the most part. But like I have one song that sounds, because my buddy, there's a long story behind it. It was a good, fun song to write with him. But it sounds like an Alice in Chains blues kind of rock song.
Is it on Open Wounds?
No, it is not. But it's like the next block. Like, so yeah, those were all very much like the opening riff to, there's a song called Bullets and Bog Eggs on the Open Wounds album. It is straight up me trying to copy a band called Adama and their opening song, or their big song, which is called like No Giving Up or something. And the lead, to put it even more in perspective, the lead singer is Jonathan Davis from Korn's little cousin. So like it's straight up like as much 2000s rock as possible.
I really enjoyed the early 2000s post-hardcore stuff.
Oh, I did, yeah.
New metal, when I was younger, I didn't appreciate it as much. Somebody reminded me of POD and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? They actually were pretty good.
They
weren't that bad.
I found as time goes on, I have no problem with new metal.
Limp Bizkit, not that bad. Whatever, they're fun, man.
I'm a sucker for new metal, but I was on the heavier end of new metal, like Deftones, Seven Dust.
Yeah.
Those guys. I still love Limp Bizkit. Listen to Limp Bizkit. Still love Korn. Still listen to all those guys.
Metalheads were so angry with them.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
It was so funny how
they were the last band to play on the what is it, not the World Trade Center, I think.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, they filmed a video on top of the World Trade Center.
That was the last
one of the towers.
Yeah.
Oh, that was probably Roland. Because that's the one that's on top of the skyscraper.
Yeah, it must have been Roland.
Yeah.
So it was weirdly, like, prophetic, just very coincidentally. I think they won, like, obviously the video was shot, like, months before.
Maybe that's why they
they won, like, I think they won, like, one of the VMAs.
Or MTV Music Awards.
But it was, like, they got the award, like, the day before.
Yeah.
And they showed, like, obviously they showed footage from the video. And then, 9/11 happens
how
the following morning. And
how
you're
close
like,
were they, Jordan? You know? And were they, like... Was it back-to-back, or no?
Well,
how close was it? Timeline.
Well, I know that I'm pretty sure the video was actually shot, like, months, at least a couple of months or so before 9/11 actually happened. But I think they got the award, and the video was still, like, pretty new at that time. And then, as far as I know, 9/11 happened that following morning. There was a lot of things that kind of lined up really strangely.
Weird. I'm gonna have to look into that. I didn't know that. See, I am very pride myself in being anti-censorship for any side of anything, but it shocked me
unless
how much.
You're a Nazi.
Well, okay, then yes, you're a Nazi. Yeah, But I'm shocked, like, how much 9/11 shut certain things down.
And
so
when I say Nazi, a real fucking
yes,
Nazi.
a real Nazi.
Not, you know, because you know how words are being thrown everywhere.
Right.
You're a bigot, you're a homophobic, you're a transphobe, you're a TERF, whatever the fuck that is. I forget.
I don't even keep track of
and whatever.
Right.
They're just throwing these words, like genocide. They throw that word around a lot right now currently with the Palestine conflict, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, it's kind of fucked up, but it's weird that just saying the word Nazi nowadays is like saying Diet Coke.
Yeah, it's become non-anything. But it doesn't mean anything anymore because we use it so much for random stuff. But I was shocked. Like, so for instance, like how much, I don't want to say things got censored, but like for instance, Disturbed prayer video, they were asked or they pulled it because the video, although there's nothing in it that's bad, there's parts where like a guy crashes a car or a building falls on a guy or whatever, and they pulled the video for a little while just because 9/11 had just happened. And I was like, I understand that it might have tried to be in good taste, but I don't understand why this has anything to do with that. Yeah. Or like Columbine, Boondock Saints movie. Yeah. They delayed. It was made in 1999 and not released till 2001 because it was supposed to be released right after the Columbine shooting, and people thought it'd be a bad idea to have two vigilante guys in black trench coats.
Yeah, you know,
shooting people.
Another example I just learned about was the Disney movie that came out like the next year. I think it was Lilo and Stitch.
I love that.
They had to reanimate. They had to reanimate an entire segment because it involved like a plane, like an actual like passenger plane going through and like getting like scratched up through buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they had to change it like,
that's ridiculous.
Let's make it a spaceship. Let's make it an alien ship instead because it'll just, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing
we don't wanna...
how much 9/11 like people. Although I'm like, hey, we had a national tragedy, but I don't think the prayer video by Disturbed is really showing this shocking likeness to 9/11.
Yeah, put a woman there, make her ugly and make her gay.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a weird time. I think.
I love that episode.
I have this weird idea that I feel like every like 4 or 5 years or so, there's like a complete vibe shift that is basically like triggered by some kind of like event. It could be like a terrorist attack. It could be an election. It could be a war or something, or it could be a pandemic, for instance, where it's just the mentality and overall mood of just like everyday life just changes to be something else.
Yeah, I agree. I think you can pick out a big event every 5 years at least that's been like how we look at something is completely changed.
There's a big problem with trying to erase history with when it comes to racism too. Like for example, historical movies where, you know, I don't know, it's England or something.
Yeah.
And no offense, they cast black actors.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I can't really buy into this because it would be unlikely. I mean, are we just forgetting?
Yeah, like that somebody, I think it was 1917, the movie. I'm not sure if you saw it. It's a World War I movie.
I want to. It looks good.
It's fantastic. So I don't know if you've heard this, but the trippiest part about it, and you realize it, if you're sitting there, I realized it halfway through the movie. You know how most of the time in a movie there's like the camera switch? Mm-hmm. Like you see it. It is filmed as though it is filmed one continuous shot.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that's a cool thing. But there was a giant outcry about how there was no African American or black actors in it. I'm like, it's Britain in 1917 in World War I.
Yeah, it's England and Germany. So
and it's about two guys.
Basically, two guys.
It's not racist to be accurate with history.
And it just wasn't that story. It just wasn't. Mm-hmm. You know, there's been movies made about different wars where they do focus on different minority groups, whether they be black people or Asian or whatever. But it just has to be that specific story. Right. It has to be that part of history. Whereas if you're just telling more of, because I think in 1917's case, that movie was something that the director was attached to personally. It was something that was referenced from, I guess, like journals or stories like from his grandfather, who I guess was fought in World War II. So it was more of like, I just have like this personal vision I want to accomplish here.
Right.
And that's about it. Julio.
Now we've gone down the societal opinion hole.
No,
Yeah.
I love it. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to stick.
No,
with the
no,
music.
it's okay, it's okay. I just thought you probably had one.
I was kidding. It's like a couple or something.
Right.
No, you're good. I just wanted to keep moving
Let me
things along
review
with the
my
questions
notes.
here.
Look how disgusting my phone is. Don't worry, it's just come.
Better than mine.
Yeah, I already knew I was going to ask. Are there any upcoming shows you're playing? Oh, actually, I wanted to lead into that. I didn't hurt you, did I?
No.
Okay.
I mean, ow! Dude, I had 200-pound dudes smacking that leg with their leg this morning. I'm good.
So I spoke to you one time. I think it was Instant Homish. You told me, or no, it was online, but we did talk in person as well about it. How you book shows yourself. You do it differently than most people.
Kind of. Accidentally,
And
for the most part.
I'm kind of curious as to this is a 3-question one.
Yeah, hit me.
So the first question is, it's been a while since you've been a solo artist for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, and you do play with other people, I know that, but I'm wondering if you are thinking of ramping it up, because I think that would be sick if you made like an electric band album, maybe a collab
band.
like I did with my solo album. Like if you did, grabbed 8 people, wrote songs with them.
Yeah.
Or and as well, like I would like you to explain how you go about booking shows.
Okay.
And then the third question I'm gonna lead later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first off, as for getting a full band together, the biggest problem there's a few problems. I would love to eventually get a band together, but it would kind of be like Fuel or The Who or Breaking Benjamin, however you look at it. I write all the music and all the lyrics and all the parts. There's a couple problems when it comes to doing a full band. First off, I am busy as heck. Like, I don't sit down for any reason because it drives me nuts to do so. Like, I am always on the go and doing fun things, like doing podcasts and stuff. So, I mean, okay. But I work construction. Like, my normal day is I get off work, I immediately go to the gym. Mondays and Wednesdays, I then go over and go to my MMA gym. And then I get home at like 5:30, and then I eat, and then I might sit down for 2 hours, and then I go to bed and go to sleep. So
that's really good.
Yeah, so trying to get a full band practice in once a week or whatever is a logistical nightmare.
You're gonna have to eliminate one of the things.
I know.
You like doing.
That's the thing. Is first off, there's that. The other thing is I play really all the parts except for I play drums, but I'm not a professional. Like, I'm not gonna do fancy fills. I'm probably gonna lose time. And like having someone else do it in the studio is just way more efficient.
Do you know people that want to be in a band with you right now? Because this is a great outlet.
I'll be honest, not really. If anybody wants to call me, get a hold of me. I'm a guitar player and a singer. I like to play guitar and sing, so I still did at least one other guitar player, a bassist, and a drummer.
He's not single though. I'm sorry.
No, I am very married. And then there's there's
a happy ending to the album.
Yes. Yeah. Oh. Well, my wife is still like, when are you gonna write me a love song? I'm like, even my mom was like, he doesn't write love songs. He just doesn't. He writes what he's angry about.
It's so bad, dude.
I can't do it. They sound so cheesy when I do them.
Yeah. I used to when I was younger, when I was freshly into making music.
Yeah.
In Spanish, it's easier. It's much easier.
Yeah. Spanish has such a rhythm and a flow to it.
Look how I love you sounds in Spanish. Te amo tanto.
Yeah, it sounds.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's in English. I love you.
Yeah.
It sounds lovely.
No, that's
English is not romantic.
That's one thing I've heard is like Italian, French, Spanish. They all have such a rhythm to the way they speak that is so fluid and naturally sounds romantic. Mm-hmm. But so you have the problem with logistics and timing, which if I got the right group together, I would make that a priority. The other problem is, again, I play all the parts, so when I go in the studio...
You'll get really into it, and then your other passions will kind of die out or get neglected.
But I just bring in a studio drummer. I'm like, okay, just do this, and this the other problem.
Okay, yeah, that's how I feel.
So then, that couples with the third problem, which is I'm incredibly selfish about my music. Like, it's one of those weird things where, like, I don't know if you know the story on Fall Out Boy, but they begged Donald Stump to join the band forever, and he refused to do it. Until like the 11th hour, and he's like, "Fine, I will join your band."
Wait. His name is what?
The lead singer of Fall Out Boy is Donald Stump, I think. I'm not kidding. Like you have to look this up.
His name is Donald.
Am I wrong? Like somebody Google this. I feel like such an idiot.
I gotta do it.
Google it. But he joined the band and said, "Okay, that's fine, but I will join it as long as I am the proprietary songwriter, and there will be no ifs, ands, or buts." And that's kind of where I come with my music, and that's the hard part is I'm so selfish with the songwriting aspect because the songs. For me, I write music. Am I right?
Patrick Stump.
Patrick Stump. Same
The
thing.
fuck, Donald Stump. You were thinking of something. You thought I was gonna show up with a Make America Great hat.
I'm sorry. It's January 6th. What can I say? It's already on my hand.
Shit! Wait, no, that's tomorrow, isn't it?
No, it's today.
It's fucking today.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's why I wanted to get that hat.
Today is the day of our Lord and Savior. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Please don't take that
Vote
seriously.
for Trump, people.
Don't cancel me.
I'm just kidding.
It's a joke.
I'm really. I can't believe I said that.
That's why I made that joke. I thought you would. I honestly wrote that.
I really
too.
wanted to trigger the audience and just be full blown redneck when you came in, but like my back has been killing me, so I didn't have the time. And plus, where the fuck do they sell those MAGA hats?
We gotta get them off a website or something now.
Okay, for everyone at home, I want to make it very clear because he obviously is not a Trump fan. And I don't care either. I'm not a politics guy at all. But when he told me that the podcast was on January 6th, I said, the day of our Lord and Savior, Donald J. Trump, as a joke. No one take that seriously.
I think I know what I'm going to title this one.
How to get canceled 101. But so the other third...
How to get canceled is just literally speaking your fucking mind.
Right. Well, and so the third and hardest part about getting a full band together for me is... other than playing all the parts myself, and then I would just hire a live band to do that.
That's a good way
is
to
that
do
I'm incredibly selfish with the songwriting, and people would have to be okay with me basically not allowing them to write. They would have to just.
Well, you'd have to pay them at that point, because I don't know any musician would be down just to kind of be there as.
Well, I mean, like Beartooth, that's what they do. Caleb Shomo writes and literally plays all the parts in the studio. And then the band is a live band, and they're cool with it because they're making skillions. Like, Beartooth is huge, especially on the live circuit. I do too. So that's the biggest thing with this is when I go that's the other problem is like the way I treat music, although I don't want to say it's a hobby, it's definitely my passion. But I'm like, hey, when I get enough songs together, I'll go into the studio, hire a studio drummer. My buddy's a great drummer. Hire him, put out the album. And and it's never happened, but if it gets big enough to where people are like, dude, we need you to go on tour with us, you'll make money, then I would worry about it. But right now I'm just like, I'm kind of in that weird space where I only just want to release music.
I hope you go the route that I did with Discordia, which is I just got people that I really loved and respected, and I was at the helm. Like, I wrote 7 of the songs completely.
Right.
Well... They would argue different.
Right.
Like, there's the guitar... Well, I didn't write the guitar parts and all that to track 2. So, it was a collaboration. Yeah. But track 4, 3, and 8 were all written by me, right?
Right.
So, you can do something like that. I think that would be excellent. And then, going to a studio, making sure it's all legit. I really would love to hear you go heavy.
Oh yeah, no, I would too. My problem is I can't scream, but I'd love to get like a heavy.
You don't have to scream. No. What I mean is like musically.
Yeah. Like
I don't really scream in Discordia. It's punk. It's hardcore punk.
Right.
So I think you should try that, and then we got Jordan here as a drummer. He's per hire. He's great. He's a great drummer. Dude, he's a fucking great drummer.
I'll play with anybody.
Yeah.
And the other thing, so I worked with 3-piece for a while, and they were my best friends, so we always had a great time. Again, like kind of like what I think you were alluding to, I came in with 90% of the music and wrote the lyrics and all that. But there was one song we were doing that I basically, and this is what I did with a buddy of mine, Max, and I'll get into that story in a second. But I brought in this one song, and I was like, what do you guys think? And they were like, yeah, no, let's try to tweak it a little bit. And I was totally cool with it. And Race was the drummer. That's his name is Race. He started playing this drum beat, and I was like, and again, not that I'm the pro, but I do play drums. So when I write the songs, I have the way I want the drums to sound already in my head and set up, which is again part of the problem.
You could try to put it electronically.
Oh yeah, but he started playing this beat though, and I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. That's phenomenal. So we rolled with that instead. So there are times where I'll bring people in and be like, okay, I need some inspiration on this part because I don't know what I want it to sound like, and I'll kind of like, it's kind of like changing the channel on the radio, like, nah, not that. No, not that. Oh, there we go. Another thing I like to do when I'm songwriting, or I do this a lot, I love to be on the outside looking in and be the assistant songwriter, like, and help rearrange stuff. So, and the very base level of that is I had a buddy of mine who had a pad of lyrics, and it was the song that I said I wrote, the newer song that kind of sounds Alice in Chainsy, that isn't out
Oh,
yet.
before you leave, I want to show you something that I wrote that sounds like
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm down.
I didn't put it on my album, my last one, because
Okay.
it was too. I mean, it was grunge with electronic. No.
Okay.
As I put it, we didn't include it.
I'm down. I loved your electronic stuff. So,
You
but
did?
he,
cool, thanks.
But he had a pad and he had all the lyrics done. And he's like, I don't play guitar. I don't know how to I don't have a musical note in my body at the time. He's learned to play guitar since. And he's like, can you help me write this song? And so I said, sure. What do you want it to sound like? And I basically literally sat on his bed and played chord by chord, every single chord. And he's like, he would like pick chords. And it was literally like he was using me as the computer. So like, when you write, people write songs now, they just drag and drop chords in or whatever. So he was like literally just using me as the computer and drag and dropping chords in. And then all I did was give the song a melody, and so that's how we wrote the song. I tell him it's his song.
Unreleased material.
Yeah, it's unreleased so far.
But it's going to be included in that album. You
Yeah,
mentioned.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
there's
said
no way I know.
that. Yeah, you said that this LP is. You said coming out next year, or do you mean?
I'm
this
gonna
year?
start. I'm gonna start recording it this coming year. I'm start recording it sometime in 2024.
I see.
I'm looking at March, April to start recording it. The big thing is
my
getting the
birthday.
money together.
Yeah.
Getting the money together for that. And then you asked me about booking gigs. So here's the weird ass story about booking gigs.
Yes.
I literally, and it unfortunately requires a backstory because it doesn't make sense if I just say, because the short answer is it's all on accident. Literally how it's all happened. I started, when I was doing like recording the parts that I would record and like the little bits of songs when I first picked up the guitar. So I would record like a 30-second part and I wouldn't know what to do with it. So I would literally post it on Facebook, and now Facebook videos section of my photos tab is my archive of music. So then that grew into me singing more, and I would record a song on a little crappy like digital, remember the old school digital cameras?
Yeah.
So I would literally set it on my desk on my windowsill. I would play a song one time through, no editing, no nothing, and just the audio off the camera, and I would upload it to Facebook and YouTube and just see what people thought. That's all I was doing was just to track my progress, see how I was doing, and see what other people thought of it. So this accumulated into 3 years of me doing this, and I did them every Monday. Was the goal once a week?
I never
I had to
booked you,
cover
did
a
I?
song.
I never got to.
Yeah,
book
you did it at Mirkwood.
Oh.
Twice.
Oh,
You did it at
okay,
Mirkwood twice.
okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
Man, that was a long time ago, actually.
I know, right?
Those are some good shows, actually.
Oh, those were a lot of fun.
Yeah, you did
I had a
good,
time.
too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we.
Thanks for playing, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry if I didn't say that.
No.
I probably did.
No, yeah,
A million times.
Oh yeah. So I uploaded all these videos all the time, and people started getting back to me. And I actually had friends of mine like, "You can sing?" I was like, "I guess." Like, I don't know. Do you like it? They're like, "Yeah."
I love your singing.
Thank you.
I really like it, especially live.
Yeah, I've been told that. So the big thing
No,
is
the recording is good, but it can be. Your next one is going to be even better.
well, that's
I
the
can
thing.
just
the
tell.
recording. I was still learning my voice, and that was 4 years ago.
You were a little shy.
I'm very shy.
Yeah, you were shy.
I was so shy in my voice.
You weren't shy in that live performance.
No, so that's what I sound like now. That's what I
It's the
actually
good-
sound
it's the-
like.
It's the British flag behind you.
Yes. Oi, mate. So I went to a Puddle of Mud show, ironically enough, and I ran into a buddy of mine,
man.
Levi, who's a stand-up comedian, and he's been doing it for years. And so I got to give him a big hug. I was like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Hey, I got a question for you." Yeah, and he goes, "You play open mics?" I said, "No," and I have And the other reason I would do those videos is because I have terrible stage fright. No one knows this. I
Really?
absolutely.
Oh.
I am shaking before I get I am angry.
I shake afterwards.
I am
weird.
I am angry, irritated, and shaking before I go on stage. I have my headphones. It doesn't matter if it's a room this size. I have my headphones in and I'm blaring like metal music to get me to calm down.
When you're solo, it's probably because you're up there by yourself.
Yeah, and
If
so
you're in a band, it's a little bit less scary because
Oh, yeah.
you have all these people. You're like, okay, I'm joined.
well, in a band, I'm always thinking about don't screw up. Please don't screw up this part. Please don't screw up this part. I'm always
Because
anxiety.
the domino effect.
Right.
Yeah.
So I started playing open mics all the way around Snohomish, anywhere, and I was on a layoff at the time. I wasn't working, is basically what I was saying. And so I would go to every open mic I could find.
Yeah.
And I just had people coming up to me. I'm not kidding, this is how it worked. Come up to me and go, "Hey, can you play at our bar next Saturday or in a couple Saturdays?" I'm like, sure. And the first one, I'll give him credit, was Steve, the owner of Dreadnought Brewery. And he seriously messaged me, and and we had already had what do you call that? A relationship,
Repertoire.
a friendship, repertoire with each other because I had gone there and had beers. Rapport. Thank you.
Sorry.
Rapport. Not repertoire. We had a rapport. And so I had already been to his establishment, which is a brewery, and drank a couple times. So I started playing open mics, and he was the first one that reached out and said, "Hey, I'd like to book you at the brewery." Cool. He goes, "Can you play 3 hours?" And I literally was like, I have, and not that I, like, not in an egotistical way. This is very much me, like, pondering. I'm like, I have 3 years worth of covers that I have done every Monday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can do 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, sure, can I take 15-minute breaks?
There's no way in hell I could.
So, well, it's so bad on your voice. My voice, like, the next day, I'm, like, just sitting there.
No, I just don't have that much material.
Oh, really?
Not anymore.
That's why I do the cover.
Maybe when I was, like, 20 years old.
Yeah.
But...
So, and that's how it happened. I literally just started getting booked, and other people started hearing about me, and other bars started hearing about me, and I started just getting a reputation because...
You're also very professional, and your character is nice.
I
and you're a bit edgy, like moi.
I have a
heart. Yeah.
I learned a great rule a long time ago. Be a professional off the stage. The second you get on the stage, you can be as much of a jackass as you want.
There's a thing though, like I played an open mic, CCR and stuff.
Yeah, of course I do.
Oh my gosh,
That's where we met.
Yeah, there's a dude that does sound. I don't know if he does it anymore, but he would actively turn me down, like the volume, and
Right.
I'm like, I can't even hear myself already.
Right.
And with the music that I play, which is very similar to yours,
Right.
very similar, it just didn't sound good, right?
Okay.
And I'm not feeling it, and if I'm not feeling it, I'm not gonna play anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and luckily that night I was in one of my moods where I was like, I'll just play and that's it.
Right.
But it's the worst feeling playing a set and not enjoying it. That's the worst.
I don't.
It's the worst.
My thing is so much I guess I know this sounds really apathetic. I don't care. So I'm going to tell you how I think when it comes to you venue owners, just in case you don't know. I'm getting paid. I don't care. I'm getting paid let's say it's $200 a night. I show up, I'm going to play, and I'm going to keep my contractual obligation. If your sound sounds like crap, if whoever's running the soundboard makes me sound like dirt, I don't care, because at the end of the night, I'm still going to get $200, and even if I sounded like crap, it's your fault.
You're a good businessman.
Now, if I show up...
That's what bands need.
Now, here's on the other hand. If I show up and my voice is out, or I've never done this, thank heaven, or if I butcher a set, then I will totally take all that responsibility.
If you're playing a show where you don't know if you're getting paid or you're not getting paid, then do you feel more obligated to say something about sound?
No. I don't care. If you make me sound like crap, that's your fault, and it's not my fault. And
it doesn't bother you if somebody turns you down?
No, not at all. I don't care.
Okay.
I'm like, you know what? I'm like, do whatever you got. Because here's my thing, and I've also learned this, I've done a lot of soundboard stuff throughout my years. I spent 8 years behind a soundboard, and I'm going to say this word for a church. And so I've learned very much that what you think you're hearing while you're on stage is not what they're hearing.
True, yeah.
And there are times, I have gotten off stage multiple times and gone up to my friends or whoever there and been like, could you guys even hear me? Because I can't hear me. They're like, oh no, you're plenty loud.
But there's also been times where it's the opposite, where it's like, oh, I didn't hear your vocals, or I didn't hear you that.
Yeah. And I've had that before too. But again, it's one of those
sound
things
checking is important.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's why 15 minutes before I go on, I do a quick sound check.
Yeah.
I'll do a low vocal and a high vocal for about 30 seconds. I'll play my guitar because my guitar is an active. It's got a good battery in it, so it's loud. So
acoustic electric.
Yes. And so I always, I'll do a sound check. I'll make sure everything's good. I actually have my wife and at least one other person, walk the room while I'm sound checking.
Dude, I'm curious now how you will sound if you played a song on my guitar.
I can always check. I have no
Jordan,
problem.
Can we do that?
If you want, but we're actually pretty much out of time here, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's wrap it up. So in conclusion, it's like a really
To be
bad
continued.
essay. To be continued. Maybe there's going to be a part 2.
I'm down.
It'll be sick because there's a lot to talk about with you. Amazing.
Thank you.
I just love the way that you told your stories and it relates to the questions and it just became it's awesome because I barely went through my list, so I think an episode 2 would be.
We can always do a part 2.
I think that would be awesome. Yeah.
I'm in.
So the reason I wanted to talk about that your show process is because a lot of bands do it differently. They think that doing covers is lame or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They judge cover bands quite a bit, and I'm guilty of doing that too.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't a Misfits cover band.
Right.
And I realized that music is about just doing what you enjoy, and then you do it in a way that's like super professional, and the way that you do it is, like I said, you're a good businessman.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably have experience in business, so that really, really helps. And I think that that's an important lesson to learn from most bands, local bands, starting up bands.
Yeah.
And that was why I wanted you to talk about that, so like maybe some newer local bands can learn.
Yeah, I'll say this as a final point. I'll say this, and I'm going to be very opinionated. If you're too pompous to play like a cover or two because you only want to play your original material, what you're going to do is you're going to show up to a bar where everybody's trying to, because that's where most of us play music. And that's why I play at least a few covers, because I want you, and I start the show off with the same 3 covers every time, because they're all 3 songs that everybody knows.
Which one?
Okay, so it's In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins, but I do my own kind of version of it.
Ooh.
Then I do Nirvana's Heart-Shaped Box. And then I do a song that, just so that people know what genres they're getting into, I do a song called Country Boy by Aaron Lewis. Because I play a few country songs, I play rock songs. Yeah, and I do a lot of stains. So I make sure that everyone knows what you're going to hear.
We should put out a country like rock.
I've been told I should.
Oh my god, yeah.
But
dude,
so
I like some country.
Oh, I do
like
too.
Judge Me.
But so I play. I do too. But so I play those 3 songs, and after I get done playing those 3 songs, I go, those are a lot of what you're going to hear tonight. I hope you enjoyed those. And that's kind of that's why I look at covers that way, because what it is it's a fish hook. And if you hook the audience right away, then towards the end of the show or wherever you
they'll
put
be listening
in,
to you.
They'll be like, oh, they're good. Like they covered that really well. Let's put in, and they'll be willing to listen to your original material.
Did you remember that?
Yeah,
Jason?
it warms them up. It gets them to be more engaged. It kind of gives them something to latch on
well,
to.
Yeah, if they hear a song
because
they
people
like
what's familiar. It's just how it is.
If you play a song they like, and you play it well, and they like the way you did it, and then you go, hey, I got an original, is that okay? 9 times out of 10, the whole audience goes nuts.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, dude, let's hear what you can really do when you're writing on your own. That's what it comes
You know what
to.
cover I really think you should do?
Which one?
That Jason Aldean song. Remember?
Oh, try that in a small town?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Definitely. You should do that one in Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like that song.
Dude, Country Boy at the end gets a little. I'm always like, oh man, are people going to get mad at me? Because at the end it says something about like, he says something about the rattlesnake flag. He says a line about, just because I can't think of it off the top of my head, but he says a line about having a rattlesnake flag. He says a line about the government never having to hold his hand, and that his family's always fought and died to save this land. So I'm always like, when I get to that part, I'm like, where am I going to lose people? And luckily no one's like flipped out yet, so I'm always like, dang it. I hope no one gets mad at me for this.
That I wanted to bring that up because of what we talked about before with the cancellation and
Yeah.
stuff. With music, cancellation. That's just absurd. I
Man,
mean,
be into what you're into.
free
Do your
speech,
thing.
man.
Do your
Free
thing.
speech. Anyway, this concludes our episode 7. I'm gonna see if I can get a quick song with my guitar, with him playing it. I just really.
If not, we'll do it next time. It's all
I
good.
think we should do it next time
Next
because
time.
I gotta take this stuff out of here.
Yeah, you're
All
good.
right.
It's all good. We'll do it.
Well,
next
thank you.
But just you can do it on your own though.
time. Yeah, we got a part
Rehearse
2.
it.
Oh, okay.
We got a part. We can do a part 2. Whatever.
Let's do the part 2.
Yeah, we'll do it on part 2.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Later.
But it was great talking to you.
Yeah, thanks,
And
guys.
for
I
coming
appreciate
on.
it. Hi, you.
On this special day.
You're awesome.
Special guest.
Yeah, it's sport.